Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. One of our fans here has brought my attention to a very interesting story. Developing court holds vetting and appointment of principal secretary nominees. If you go through the story, Labour Court Judge Nzioki wa Makau has stopped the vetting and appointment of principal secretaries until a case filed by the Law Society of Kenya is heard on November 21, 2022. It continues, in a court order, Justice Makau ruled, pending hearing of this application inter partes on November 21, 2022, a conservatory order is hereby issued restraining and or barring the respondents from receiving or if already received the list of nominees, barring the processing, vetting, or in any way proceeding or processing the nomination for appointment and or appointing the first to 51st interested parties herein as principal secretaries as communicated via the press release dated November 2nd, 2022 by Felix K. Kosgei, Head of Public Service. It continues, the Law Society of Kenya had on November 11, 2022 filed a petition in court challenging the list of the PS nominees. Yes, the story continues. Law Society of Kenya argued that the list lacked gender, tribal, and regional balance. That from the list of nominees, the nomination does not take into account the regional and tribal balance, the 2/3 gender principle, persons living with disabilities, and the youth, contrary to the tenets of good governance, reads court documents. On the impunged list of 51 interested parties, 13 are members of the Kalenjin community from Rift Valley region, 13 from Central Kenya region, to the detriment of the other 40 tribes and communities in Kenya. Yes, that's the story. In this video, as usual, I want us to dig deep into that story to see what it means and what it portends for the judiciary and what now Kenyans should and must do. If you are watching us for the very first time, subscribe, give this video a like. Yes. The Law Society of Kenya had moved to Labour and Relations Court challenging William Ruto's list of principal secretaries. The Law Society of Kenya argued that the list lacked regional balance, 2/3 gender rule, people with disabilities are not incorporated, and also the youths are also not incorporated, among other issues. And there is also another group that had moved to the same court, challenging that list in that there are some people who were nominated by William Ruto who were not shortlisted. So William Ruto picked them from nowhere. Those are the issues being deliberated at the Labour and Relations Court. And the court has so far stopped the vetting. What does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? Let's dig deep. Yes. If you look at the list of principal secretaries nominated by William Ruto, this one that the court has stopped its vetting, 13 comes from Kalenjin Rift Valley, 13 comes from the mountain. So out of 51 persons, 26 come from two regions, Kalenjin Rift Valley and the mountain. I don't have a better word to describe that than tribalism. William Ruto is coming out as a tribal leader. A president should be a symbol of national unity. William Ruto is not presenting himself as a symbol of national unity. He is presenting himself as a tribal leader. And also, if you look at the cabinet composition, the same two communities dominate the cabinet secretaries. Out of the 21 nominated by William Ruto, over 12 come from those two regions. So you are seeing clearly this is a tribal government. No doubt about that. If the law was to be followed as it is, that alone warrants the impeachment of William Samoei Ruto. He has proved he can't uphold the Constitution. He has proved he can't be a symbol of national unity. Secondly, the mere fact that a lower court, as a labor relations court, can be brave enough to face the government in the face to stop the vetting of principal secretaries, that should also be a wake-up call to the apex court, the Supreme Court. In fact, just as I've been saying here, if you look at the judiciary, the weakest link in the judiciary is the Supreme Court. I've consistently maintained here that the lower courts are performing even better than the apex court. Martha Koome and your bench, you are the weakest link in the judiciary. Your continued stay in office is doing Kenya more damage than good. Martha Koome and your bench, please have some conscience and resign. Kenyans no longer have faith and trust in you. Look at your lower courts. Your lower courts are performing far much better than your bench. The weakest link in the judiciary as it is right now is the apex court, the Supreme Court. And if things continue this way, if Martha Koome and her bench are not willing to resign, Kenyans should demand for their resignation. They are doing this country more damage than good. And also from that developing story, you can see clearly, ladies and gentlemen, that as much as we are being told to move on, because that's what William Ruto has been saying, as much as we are being told to move on, or as much as William Ruto's government is moving on, it does not mean they are doing things the right way. The composition of the cabinet secretaries was flawed. It is tribal. And you are seeing the government of the country is being told to move on. And you know, Kenyans have been silent. So it also shows clearly that the mere fact that Kenyans are silent does not mean the government is doing the right thing. This government is totally doing wrong things. It's only that there are no brave Kenyans who can face the government face to face to challenge the government. The judiciary, which could have been the avenue through which Kenyans could challenge this government, the executive seems to be compromising that judiciary, courtesy to the Supreme Court. But my humble appeal to the judges to the judges, I think it's now high time judges should now be brave enough and also take the challenge, or the judges should now be brave enough. If the Supreme Court is not willing to be independent, these lower courts and these judges of or these judges can also be independent and be brave. Let Martha Koome and her bench, if they are not willing to resign, let them mess up there. But these other courts, my humble appeal to them, please be independent and perform your duties without fear or favor. It's only time that will tell whether Martha Koome will continue with her pinky-ponky business at the Supreme Court. Only time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. Let me stop it there, ladies and gentlemen. If you are watching us for the very first time, subscribe, give this video a like. Our fans and subscribers here, I'm very much humble, very grateful for the kind of support you are giving me here. As usual, if you want to support our channel, I've pinned my number on the comment section. Contact me through the number or feel free to channel your support to the number. Let's meet in our next analysis. Thank you.